to Foul Trouble. Today, Patrick and I are going through all 30 teams, and we're going to be doing how we felt about them going into the season on a 5-year outlook versus how we feel about them now.
What's up, James? How you doing? I'm sorry, everyone, that we missed last week. Honestly, I'm going to take the blame on this. I was out and about flying from city to city. I saw a game in Houston. I saw a game in San Francisco, and I saw a game in LA, and I just did not have time to record. But we are here now. That's on me, us missing last week.
Yeah, so this is basically an exercise where Patrick and I are going to kind of say, here's how I felt about, maybe we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. So we'd start with the Washington Wizards. We'll do the East first, then the West. How did we feel about the Wizards, projecting 5 years out? And how do we feel about them now? About, every team has played about 12 games, I would say, seems like.
Just right around there.
So, Patrick, so I guess maybe we'll just do a simple up or down. And how are you feeling on the Wizards? I am feeling, if we have to do up or down, because I honestly am feeling kind of samey, I'm going to go down.
I'm feeling slightly up on the Wizards, to be honest, strictly based on Alex Sarr. I think he showed a lot to start this season, averaging 19 and almost 9 rebounds. I think he's looked a lot more like the guy that we were told is coming in. He was going to be coming into really that whole draft process of 2 years ago. But, I think it's fair to kind of be anywhere on this list. Why are you feeling down?
Well, I'm kind of looking at a 5-year window as I think sometimes when people do this in sports, it's what does the team look like at the end of the 5th year? Whereas I'm kind of thinking about, like, how is this team competing in year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5? Because, let's take a team 1, let's say, wins a championship in year 1, and then they falter out and they're kind of mid at the end of 5 years. Versus team 2, let's say, is a playoff contender at the end of 5 years. I'd consider team 1 more successful, even if at the end of 5 years, maybe that doesn't look as good.
Okay.
I'm considering success over the 5-year period, and I think the Wizards, despite Sarr's improvement, like the fact that they're 1-11 and not like kind of 3-9, 4-8, I don't really feel like they're that competitive. Now they have a couple overtime losses, maybe couple overtime losses, Pistons and Bucks, but I don't know, man. They're still losing a lot of games by like 20 plus points.
They are, but I think just the fact that they've been able to identify long-term pieces like Alex Sarr, which I think was a little bit, we weren't really sure after last season. Keyshawn George, I think he's almost looking like the best of their puppies. I still am a big believer in Trey Johnson. I don't know. I am, if anywhere, I'm very close to middle as you can possibly get on how I felt before the season versus how I feel now. But I don't know. How much longer do we even want to talk about the Wizards?
Basically, I kind of still feel good about the Wizards, how they're going to look 4 years from now, 5 years from now. I am discounting. I don't know if they're going to have a lot of success the rest of this year, next year, and the year after. So that's why I've got them down. Okay, next team, Indiana Pacers, playing against your Phoenix Suns tonight. So let's just add a loss.
Yes. I don't know. It's kind of a trap game for the Suns. They're traveling. It's a back-to-back. But I am actually feeling in a 5-year time span way up on the Indiana Pacers. And that's just because if we've learned anything about the Pacers this season, it's that this is going to be a true gap year. I was pretty high on the Pacers coming into this season. I thought they had enough players to just kind of keep the ball rolling, be in that play-in mix without Tyrese Halliburton. And because of all of the injuries that they've sustained to start off the season, they are going to be in the Darren Peterson mix. They're going to be in the Cam Boozer mix. And if they get lucky, the sky is the limit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm also going up. I think we're looking at a team that could really struggle the rest of this year, obviously. And I honestly think first year back from the Achilles, I think Halliburton's going to, not be himself until 2 years from now, but I think Halliburton will be himself, so I'm anticipating a lot of success the back 3 years of this next 5 years for this team, and I'm with you, man. This is a much better outcome for them than if they were fighting for the 10 seed, so I'm also going up on the Pacers.
I also want to say I've been, like, meditating all week on Anthony Davis trades, and the Pacers are one of my sneakiest, like, Anthony Davis loves for, like, a trade scenario, because first, I mean, I think his name is going to come up a couple times in this conversation. I don't think because he's kind of on a lame duck contract, I don't think his value is super high right now. It's probably closer to like what the Kevin Durant package was like. So, and the Pacers do have some far out first round picks. Could you turn like a Obi Toppin, Andrew Nembhard package into Anthony Davis? I've heard worse packages. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, the only thing is I'm a little worried about AD as an older player playing in this up and down Pacers world.
Yeah, I hear you. But they lost a great, or a defensive center, and they're going to have to replace it, and you could do a lot worse than Anthony Davis.
Oh, you 100% could do a lot worse. I guess I'm just concerned with AD health, everything. But let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets. They're the last East team with only one win. There's a true seller in the East. True. And the Nets, I actually am going to go, I don't know, this might surprise you. I'm actually going under.
Dude, I'm with you. How do you draft 5 first-round picks and you don't see anything from any of them?
I'm going to assume at least one and a half, let's say, of them kind of become something. But, yeah, I think that's the main reason I'm down on the Nets. Obviously, I came into the season not expecting this team to be good. The best player is arguably Michael Porter Jr. or Nick Claxton. So you're definitely feeling like, hey, this is a true tank year. But 5 young guys, But, man, to have 5 first-round picks and then basically none of them are at least decent as rookies. Now, that doesn't mean they can't develop, but they haven't shown anything really. Edgar Demon, I don't think shot a 2-pointer his first 6 games in the NBA. He shot only 3s.
Really, that is a crazy stat.
It's not like we're talking about Steph Curry here. So yeah, I'm down on the Nets just because even if they do win the lottery and get DeBansta or Peterson or Boozer, it just seems like they're gonna have to do subsequent drafts to get the good young talent around him, unless these guys can really turn it around. Now, I will say, there's a good chance they will turn it around. This is a horrible environment for a young player. Stashed with young players, you don't have that kind of old veteran to really steer the ship. I don't think Michael Porter Jr. and Nick Claxton are the 2 guys I really want, instructing my youngins. But I don't know, man. It's almost kind of giving process Sixers in bad ways more than good ways.
Cam Thomas took the QO.
Oh my God, I forgot Cam Thomas. Yeah, and that's
right?
That's not necessarily a good addition to the mix I'm talking about.
No, it's not. And I mean, I already said this, right? I'm under as well. Yeah, there's just not much hope here. We haven't seen very much draft success from this front office, a front office that weirdly seems like untouchable, that just they've been there forever and ever and ever, and we've seen them through 5 different iterations of the Nets. I mean, what's the chance Michael Porter Jr. is on the next playoff Nets team? I would say probably pretty low. So, yeah, just, I don't know, not much to sink your teeth into there if you're a Nets fan.
Okay, next up, the Charlotte Hornets at 4-7. Are you looking up or are you looking down?
I'm looking up. They had a great draft. I mean, I don't think anyone expected them to be world beaters this year, but everybody was looking for Con Knippel mainly to do good. The big question mark was who is going to hold down the fort at center. Ryan Kalkbrenner has been really good to start the season. Or, I mean, passable by really good, but especially for a rookie center. Then there's been some sneaky 3-and-D stuff with Zion James. LaMelo's hurt already, so just keeping up that consistency. Colin Sexton, I mean, he's just an NBA player that's on the roster. How are you feeling about the Hornets?
It's hard for me to go up or down because the Hornets they're literally exactly who I thought they would be. Like, LaMelo gets hurt. They're not the worst team in the East, but they're definitely toward the bottom. Like, they're kind of exactly what I thought they would be. I guess if we're going to do a 5-year forecast and LaMelo, let's take like an optimistic approach to LaMelo as like the on-court product, but like he still has his, 30 to 40 games missed every year. Like, what does this team look like in year 2, year 3, year 4 of the next 5 years? Like, let's say Knipple gets a little bit better. Like, Brandon Miller maybe kind of refines the spark he had as a rookie a bit more. Like, what does it look like,
I mean, I think we're coming to a reckoning. I don't see a realistic situation where LaMelo Ball is on this roster in 5 years. So, like, who is their, like, real building block? Is Con Knipple a guy that can grow into that? Is LaMelo a guy that can bounce back and be that, like, steadying, superstar number one option that Charlotte has wanted him to be? I don't know. But the, like, other thing about this is they're in the East, and that helps. And, even this season, they're in the discussion for a team that can make a play-in run. They have a lot of young players still. I think that would be just like a healthy thing for them to all go through. And then after that, I mean, it's just, hoping for lottery luck.
Dude, I don't know where to go, because I mean, this is literally the exact team. I guess I have such a hard time trying to like close my eyes and see like what does the Hornets look like in 4 years. I just can't picture the team. But I heard, I think Zach Lowe said that Scout told him that between Ja, Trae Young, and LaMelo might have the highest trade value at the moment.
Wow, that's a swing. That's I definitely wouldn't have had that in my bingo cards coming into the year. But I mean, they're only 4-7 even this year. Like, if they go on like a 5-game win streak, which I think any team in the East is liable to go on a 5-game win streak at any given time, like, we're talking about them like threatening for a like locked in playoff spot. So I think it is a little early to judge on a team in the Hornets that is going through injury issues, which, I mean, they always do, but maybe they don't in the second half of the season, and they're relying on a lot of young players.
Yeah, I guess I'll go slight up. I'm going to go slight up.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, the Boston Celtics. This is a really hard team because it's another team to forecast. What does the roster look like in a couple years? Like, does Derek White hit a breaking point with age where all of a sudden maybe they want to move on from him? Seems like Jaylen Brown's done a decent job of kind of being the 1A guy. He hasn't been like, overly selfish with the ball, which I thought, was a real concern. They're just shooting a lot of threes.
Yeah, they're shooting a lot of threes, and a lot of a lot of them are super cold. Like Derek White, 29% from 3 so far this season on 8 attempts a game. Peyton Pritchard, 28% on 7 attempts per game. Sam Hauser, 34% on 6 attempts per game. So it's Missoula ball, but I'm definitely feeling a little bit worse about the Celtics' future outcome after seeing them play. Because, the center position and just their bigs in general is such a huge question mark moving forward. And, I don't think there's, like, a clear answer to, like, how they're going to figure that out. And if they don't figure it out, I think that's going to be a real, they're not just going to wake up next season, get Jason Tatum back, and be the Boston Celtics again.
Yeah, I guess my only pushback in a pro Boston take would be, I think when you have Jason Tatum with his size out there, it does alleviate how good the center has to be for this team to succeed. But the best version of the Celtics team had Al Horford draining threes and Porzingis, being a reliable jump shooter for driving lanes for Brown and Tatum. So I don't know. I guess I was pretty optimistic about Boston's future heading into this season. So I guess I have to go a little bit lower, but I'm still kind of up. I guess I'm just like a tick under where I was.
Coming into the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just a lot of question marks, I think. And like this team is going to be a team that makes moves, I think, even in season, especially with this Simons deal. That's a lot of money for. I mean, they did so much work over the offseason to get out of the second apron, and now it's time for them to capitalize on that. And we'll see if they're able to.
Next up, this is going to be an interesting team, the Chicago Bulls. I'm assuming you're going way up, or are you kind of more of the same?
Yeah, I mean, it would be completely unfair, I think, to not say up a little bit just because we've seen a pretty sizable stretch from not only Josh Giddey but Modest Buzelis to say, like, these are two guys that, like, you can build a team around. What the ceiling of that team is, probably like a second round exit if those two guys are your best players with the information that we know thus far. But I mean, the thing about the Bulls and like their cap sheet moving forward is like Vooch is playing a huge role in this. They don't even have Kobe White back yet. They have a lot of money going off the books this summer. So my question is, like, how are they using that money, and are they going to get in their own way the way we've seen the Bulls do in the past?
My worry is that I think Giddey benefits a lot playing next to a center like Vooch. And I know Giddey's jump shot has improved, but I'm a little bit worried as this team changes that it might not change for the best of Giddey. And I think you might be looking at the roster in 3 years where Giddey's still a great kind of good player, but Buzelis is clearly the only guy where, like, oh yeah, that's the one guy you feel great. Kobe White probably as well. I don't know. I mean, their hot start is kind of faded. They're ninth in the East now. They're 6-5. I guess I'm a little higher than I was. I mean, they're also a team. They're kind of right around playing Bulls. Like, they're kind of, obviously it's going to change, but they're kind of right where I thought they'd be.
No, yeah. I mean, they're right where I thought they would be as well. But just like speaking to the 5-year window of it all, like, we haven't really seen anything from Noah Senge yet, who that was like their realistically big addition this offseason. Hopefully they get a little more from there. But yeah, I mean, I think just with the Buzelis growth and the Giddey performance thus far, that's what's fueling me saying I'm feeling a little bit better about them.
Yeah, I guess what's hard about this exercise is it's kind of like if a team is playing well, mostly because younger players are doing well, you kind of want to nudge them up. But I think what I'm thinking about is like, how do those young players look when those older players are gone and they're kind of taking the reins? I think that's what worries me sometimes about teams like that. Oh, and I skipped over the Orlando Magic, the 6-6 Magic.
Oh, I think Orlando Magic fans were probably really happy that we skipped them over for a second, but now we're back. How are you feeling about the Magic in their disastrous start to the season?
I mean, I was obviously pretty high on the Magic coming into the year. Other than the spacing, I kind of harped a lot on. I thought the spacing was still going to be a massive issue, even with the Desmond Bane addition. Honestly, this might sound weird. I'm not that down. Mostly because
why?
I think this is going to push them to trade Franz, which is like a painful thing for Magic fans who love Franz, but it's like the necessary evil, I feel like, for this team to take the next step.
Yeah.
And I think that happening sooner than later will transcend this team into a proper contender sooner than later.
My thing, I mean, I'm feeling a lot worse about the Magic in their 5-year time span than I was. First and foremost, because of this Desmond Bane deal. I think we've already seen that Bane, although a good player, is just not really what they needed. I think more of what they needed is a guy who is a little bit more of like a drink stir than Desmond Bane is. And I think Desmond Bane is really still coming to grips with the fact that the Magic have the most fucked up spacing situation that like he could have been inserted in. But like, let's revisit that trade. Cole Anthony, KCP, 2025 first round pick, which they've already lost, 2028, 2029, and 2030. That's a lot of pick equity. And now if they're worse than we thought and they pivot to getting off Franz, like, what are they replacing Franz with? Is it like another superstar player, or is it, pieces and picks? Because if it's pieces and picks, which I think is probably a little bit more likely, just with like, that's a lot easier to build a trade that way, that sets us back already for the Magic. And this is already a team that hasn't been super healthy.
I don't know if it sets them back that much, though, because I don't know, man. I just kind of feel like it's one of those things where Paulo and Franz, if you just put them on different teams, I think you'd get so much more out of them. Like, I think the reason Paulo is settling for so many mid-range shots is because the spacing is bad. So I think if you took Franz and replaced Franz with worse players but had more complementary skill sets to Paulo, like, I think it could unlock a lot. And I think Bane starts to look better. Even Suggs might look better in that environment. And I think Paulo's going to be able to adjust his shot diet to move away from the mid-range. But, the thing I harp on with the Magic that I don't get is, like, why is this the team that's not trying to get, like, Seth Curry or Luke Kennard? Like, why is this the team not trying to get one-way players?
Well, I think they are. I mean, they're just choosing the wrong ones. Like, that's the whole idea behind Tyus Jones, who has been like a complete disaster.
But he's not like
team.
But there's like guys like Luke Kennard.
I mean,
right?
he's like a 40% 3-point shooter, backup point guard that you're hoping can get 15 to 20 minutes off the bench, right?
Yeah,
that's the idea of Tyus Jones.
I'm just thinking like this is a team that like Dalton Connect. Like, just a guy that's like, look, we know you can't really play defense in the playoffs, but at least in the regular season, you can alleviate spacing, and we have a good enough team defense around you that I just feel like if there's ever a team to host all of these, like, great shooters who can't do anything else, like, this is the team, and it just seems like they never try to sign those guys. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I mean, to their, like, credit as well, I think they have been trying to more address that in the draft. Like, that was the Jet Howard pick. That was the Jace Richardson pick. They haven't really gotten anything out of Jace Richardson so far this season. They haven't gotten anything out of Jet Howard. Jonathan Isaac has regressed greatly to a player that just, like, isn't very helpful for, with their personnel right now. Anthony Black, I think they thought could maybe grow into that and is just like, I mean, I would start with trading Anthony Black and Wendell Carter before I start trading guys like Franz, just because he's so skilled. I got to think there's a way for them to fit. And we've seen it on the playoff stage a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just worried if Suggs can't really get the jump shot to like that 37, 38%, like year over year consistently. It's like it's a pick two situation. So I don't know. And I feel like having a point of attack guard like him is so valuable. I don't know. I guess maybe I should be going arrow down. I'm kind of in the belief they're going to figure it out to a degree. So that's why I'm still.
I mean, hey, Suggs is shooting 42% on three this season so far. But it's a small sample size. Yeah. 4 attempts a game.
All right. Next up, the Toronto Raptors.
Down. Raptors. I thought you guys were going to be frisky this season.
Yeah, so Raptors, I don't want to do this for every team because, again, it's small sample size, but Raptors have had the 25th easiest schedule. They're 6-5, and I'm also down just because I don't think this team has a future. Like, I guess, like, do I think they're going to be a bottom 5 East team in terms of like regular season wins over the next 5 years? I don't think that at all. I just don't really think this is a team that's ever going to touch like a game 5 of a second round series or a game 6 of a second round series. I just can't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same story year after year with the Raptors. There's so much repetitive skill sets on this team Like, Colin Murray-Boyle's a guy I like, a guy that they just do not need at all. And then Emmanuel Quickley is not the guy that they paid, or he's just not worth the contract that they gave him. I think they're getting a pretty good season out of RJ Barrett. I think Brandon Ingram has been okay for them, but it's just like to what end, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this team that much. I'm just down. I mean, it's the same reasons we were down to begin with, though. So I guess I'm not that much more down. I'm just kind of was already at like a negative 45-degree angle, and I'm still kind of in that disposition.
Yeah. I mean, the version of this team that's really good is like a super elite defense, I think, and they're sitting at the 14th best defensive rating right now. And, you know, to their credit, the 10th best offensive rating in the league. But, I mean, it's just not been enough. I think they still occupy a lot of the same areas on the court. They're pretty easy to defend when they're playing against a, you know, quality opponent. And I just don't see, you know, it unless, you know, they're going to keep being in the lottery most likely. They're going to keep having swings at it. And if they can get a really dynamic, well-sized guard that can space the floor, survive on defense, I think that's kind of the skeleton key for this, but it's a big if.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like they're going to play themselves into the like a top play-in seed, like a 7-8 seed, and that's where I'm just like, All right, Milwaukee Bucks. You know, for all the chatter about the Bucks, they're only 7-5. Now they rested Giannis in their last game, so let's just say 7-4. Just get rid of that. 7-4. I mean, I'm actually going up on this team.
Okay, give me the up pitch.
The up pitch is coming into the year. It was Giannis, Miles Turner, and like maybe Gary Trent as like value. Mm-hmm. And I feel like now you have Giannis continuing to play like an absolute beast. You know, Giannis is north of 30. He's not showing any signs of age or deterioration. So if you have to trade him, the return is still going to be really good compared to like a Kevin Durant return, like significantly better. If you kind of want to play things out, like Ryan Rollins is a guy now. Like, I don't know. They have more pieces, and I think all their pieces have more value today than they did and how I assumed they would 3 weeks ago.
Here's my thing about the Bucks. I think they have looked better this season than I thought they were going to look because of their personnel and because of everything that you laid out. But like substantially, they've been pretty much just like a higher percentage realistic outcome than I thought. And I think when you're thinking about the 5-year, you know, future of this team, like this single season is maybe more important for the Bucks than any other team we're going to talk about today. And I think even with all of the improvements that they've made, to me, they're still a first round out, most likely. Right? Do you see them as more than that?
I don't know, man. If they're playing against the Sixers, like I like the Sixers, but you know, this version of Embiid versus this version of Giannis in a 7-game series. I know we fell for this trap last year, but I don't know. I kind of might like the Bucks in that situation. But you're right. Yeah. I don't know if I'd like them against the Cavs, Knicks, or Pistons, but I think if they get to the 5 and it's Sixers, Bucks, I guess if the Heat, I could see them beating the Heat.
Like at best case scenario, you're explaining to me like probably a 75-25, 60-40 like percentage outcome of them advancing past the first round. If they don't end up advancing past the first round, odds are Giannis is probably going to want to leave. And then, like, what is their future?
I feel like with the current apron rules, though, like it's going to be hard to trade Giannis and not get a good player in return. I don't think we're going to see Giannis for 5 draft picks. I think it's going to be like Giannis for star player and 2 draft picks. whatever the trade
But
ends up
still, what star player are you putting in Giannis, the position that Giannis is in right now, and thinking that this team is going to be better?
But
or even comparable?
You're right. I guess my point of view is I felt bad about the Bucks coming into the season. I still don't feel great about them, but I definitely feel better about them now than I did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I get why you say that, but I guess I agree, but for me it's just so marginal. and I just can't do it. Like I still feel like we're marching toward the death of the Bucks, and like you have to be super, super optimistic about what this Giannis trade package is going to be to set them up for like a better future in 5 years.
Yeah, but it's not a foregone conclusion Giannis is going to leave.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of feel like it is.
I know he's giving out some weird quotes, but all right.
Like,
so you're,
yeah.
You want to finish? Sorry, you're down on the Bucks.
No.
I'm a little bit higher on the Bucks than I was 3 weeks ago. That doesn't mean I got arrow pointing up in general. I just have it pointing not quite as far down as I did 3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Okay, Miami Heat. I feel better about this team going forward for the next 5 years now than I did at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, me too. I mean, what's not to love about Spoing again and Bam looking pretty good? Jaime's good. Back, right?
Yeah, I think like Jaime in this new system where it's just a lot of quickly attack a one-on-one, if not make a decision and move on. Like it's been good for Jovic, it's been good for Jaime. Like a lot of these guys, the Heat kind of fans and I'm sure Heat organization been kind of waiting for to are elevating. They're not, ascending to stardom or anything, but it's, low-end role player to mid-tier role player to high-end role player. Like those are marginal moves that increase value. I think it's good to see Spoelstra do Spoelstra again. Like he kind of was running this like bland handoff offense for like 5 years. That was great. Brought them to the 2020 finals, and it kind of slowly petered out as that became more normal around the league and teams got better at defending it. And I think the Heat are doing all this without Tyler Hero, who I still think is a great value add. So I don't know, man. I think this team could end up getting a 4 or 5 seed, and if not, if they're 6, I think they're going to avoid the play-in for sure. Which is, I thought coming into the year they were going to be around that play-in tier. So this year they're already better than that. I feel better about them going forward. I feel better about the moves they can make. So I don't know. I was feeling very doom and gloom, and I'm kind of feeling like not necessarily up or down. I'm feeling kind of neutral, but I was feeling bad before the season. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. They're a top 10 team in defensive rating. They're 15th in offensive rating, but their offense has really been the story of their season thus far. Without their best offensive player, they're number 1 in the league in assists. They're number 1 in the league in points. They're number 1 in the league in field goals, top 10 in field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, free throw percentage. I mean, if you're a Heat fan, I think you just got to be like doing backflips at what we've seen for this season. And like, they're not a completely barren team without assets right now. If they wanted to, make a big addition, which I think they might be looking to do next offseason. But, I mean, South Beach is a little sexy again.
Yeah, and Norm Powell's awesome in this system.
Yeah, Norm Powell's just awesome.
He's awesome in any system, but it's fun to see him in this, like, all right, go one-on-one. Okay. All right,
yeah.
We got the Atlanta Hawks. This is a fun team we talked about. I had them as my 5th contender only, a month ago?
You did, baby.
And the Hawks are hawking again. They're 7-5. They're slowly – let's see if they can win against Utah tonight. I think Utah might be a little spicy.
Yeah, I mean, I actually, despite their like pretty okay record, I think I'm still feeling a little worse about them, just overall going forward than I did preseason, just because it was a little janky of a fit with Trey to start out the season. Trey is injured right now. We'll see how they can reincorporate him moving forward. They've also, I believe, had like kind of a easy schedule to begin the season.
The Hawks have had the 24th easiest schedule so far.
Okay, yeah. But still, a win's a win. Jalen Johnson had a really rough start to the season, and he's normalizing a little bit more. Some of the things that I was nervous about, I think, have reared their head. One, their injury issues. Two, I don't know if Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the huge addition that he was made out to be by many in the media. I think there is a pretty clear gap between the Hawks and the top 4 teams in this conference, and I would probably even put the Bucks above them there. But how are you feeling about your Hawks, James?
My Hawks. Let's see. I mean, obviously, I was feeling like this had a really good 5-year outlook, so I have to go lower. I still feel good about the 5-year outlook, but my biggest question, more than anything, Patrick, is something you kind of brought up. Is like, Porzingis. He's played 9 games out of 12. Okongwu is this was a sign we had last year. A lot of people were like, why does Okongwu not start over Capella? And then all the lineup data was like, they are so much better when Capella is out there than when Okongwu was out there. I think the idea of Okongwu when he got drafted was like switchable like Bam, and he just has not been a defensive ad in that same way. So I am kind of worried that we're going to be at the end of 2026, or end of 2027, 2 years from now, we'll be like, so what is the Hawks center situation? They don't have a center on the roster other than like Muhammad Ye. So I don't know. I'm a little bit more worried about that. I kind of feel like their wings are going to solve themselves. I like that they're winning without Trey. I guess I still think the ceiling is higher with Trey, and I'm a little worried we're finding that, I don't know, for this team might not be able to find its ceiling. But I just don't think they can hit it without him.
No. I mean, once they get into a playoff situation, like, we've already seen, like, some of their offensive numbers are just scary, like, even with the Trey, like, numbers factored in. But I don't see how they score at, like, a really high level without him and, like, generate consistently, like, easy offense. And so with that thought, it's like, okay, this has to be, like, a, really gritty defensive first team. And they have kind of been that to start the season, 4th best defensive rating in the league. But a team with such question marks on offense and a defense that we haven't really seen like do it before, that Kristaps Porzingis is such a big cog of. Just a lot of question marks across the board with Atlanta.
Can I give you one Hawks? Like, Hawks are going to kind of, offense will almost surely turn it around.
Yes.
Trae Young shot 5 of 26 in 5 games from 3.
Yeah, that will definitely get better.
Dyson Daniels is only shooting 1 3 a game, and he's shooting it at 25%. And Jalen Johnson, who's not a great shooter, was not a great shooter last year. That was not part of the promise of the Hawks, but he's at 27%. I just feel like Trae Young is not going to end the season shooting 19%, and I feel like even those guys might tick up to like 32, 33, which is a 7% jump where they're at. I don't know. I just feel like the shooting is going to get better.
Yeah. Richesay is the real, like, definitely need better than 34% from him, I think. Alexander Walker only shooting 32% to start the year. Porzingis only 31%. So, yeah, definitely a lot of room for improvement for your Hawks.
Yep. Okay. The next team is the 76ers. I think this is easy. I think we're both way higher up than we were before the year.
Yeah. I mean, sky high. Like, I don't know if any team has kind of changed what I thought about them, but at the same time, I don't know if any team had more question marks than the 76ers coming into the season, but it looks like they got a star in VJ Edgecombe. We talked about that a lot last episode. And Joel Embiid is looking better and better as he goes. But the best thing about them is just, like, whatever they get from him is kind of gravy, I feel like, with how well, their young core has performed.
And Paul George might come in, obviously he's going to be vastly overpaid for what he gives you. But if you're just adding another 6'8" role player at this point in his career, who's we'll just say a good role player, maybe not like the best role player, but you're just adding another playable guy who can play 25 to 32 minutes a night. That's a huge add, especially at that size. So I got to go way higher on the Sixers, even though I think the George contract's going to hold the team back in 5 years. Like, this is such a better outcome in the short term than I think anyone could have hoped for.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even really have anything to add. They're just clearly one of the top 4 teams in the East, and I didn't think we were going to be able to say that this early in the season or at all.
New York Knicks, I have as a kind of a little bit lower.
Yeah, I think
like the most
I'm
microscopic lower than I already said.
So even on this, just because
like that's how I am. Like they're who I thought they were.
Yeah, they're still figuring out Mike Brown's offense, but they have strung wins together. They've pretty much done everything I wanted for them. I guess slightly down, not even because of anything they did, just because of what some of the teams in the East turned out to be. Yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers, I have as, I feel the same way about them. You know what? I'm going to only go down a little bit, just like a smidge down, just because I feel like Garland is just getting hurt all the time now. And I don't even know if it's like I don't know what it is. I just feel like he's not playing a lot.
Yeah, I'm pretty starkly down on the Cavs, and for that very reason of the way that they're winning right now on the back of Donovan Mitchell scoring the way he's scoring. I don't think it's super sustainable, like long term. And Darius Garland is just so damn injury bitten. Like, he struggled with the turf toe. This injury that he just came back, and now he like re-aggravated it, and he's struggling with it again. And I just wonder, like, is there ever gonna be a time where he is healthy for a sustained period of time and we can really figure out if this Garland-Mitchell backcourt works?
Well, I think we know it works based on the regular season success they've had. But does it work if you including the injuries that I feel like Garland keeps getting? I don't know. I think we pitched this once, and I'm sure it's been pitched elsewhere, but like a Suggs for Garland framework, it just feels like it makes so much sense for both teams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that does. The other reason why I think this injury in particular is worth like kind of an arrow down is I just think the general like attitude around Garland, like as a asset, has kind of fallen to start this season. So like if that was, I think that's pretty obviously the piece that they would move if they were trying to improve in any substantial way. And that just it's not as valuable. He's not as valuable as he has been. But with that being said, this team still top 10 in both offense and defensive rating. Is still stringing together wins. I think DeAndre Hunter has been pretty good in being moved to the starting lineup for them. Evan Mobley's been okay scoring-wise. I think everything that you would realistically ask from him. Jared Allen's been kind of a wash, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, I felt good about Cleveland's 5-year outlook coming into the year. I still feel good about it, but I definitely feeling a little less good about it than I did. Pistons. They're 10-2. They've had a really easy schedule thus far. I think they're gonna come down to earth a little bit, but I think this team is like with its rugged physicality is kind of is going to be able to turn out a lot more regular season wins than maybe we were all expecting.
Yeah, my arrow's up just because I think there was a question after how they performed in the first round last postseason against the Knicks. It was like, what can they carry over from that success? Because, like, I don't know. I feel like for teams that lose in the first round, but they're like a frisky first round out, like the Trae Young special, it's always like, can you carry anything over? And I think they clearly have. I mean, Cade is just like, I think he's kind of cemented himself as like the second best player in the Eastern Conference so far this season, which has been really cool to see. And Jalen Duren has been absolutely unbelievable. Like, that dude is just a mountain of a man. 20 and 12, just like exactly what you imagined and hoped for Jalen Duren to turn into. He has finally turned into this season, and he's keeping it simple. He's doing, like, making the right pass, scoring when needed, like super high, 64% from the field. I've absolutely loved what Jalen Duren has given them. And I love just their culture, like you said. They're just like a classic Pistons good team.
Yeah, I'm arrow up. I think I picked the Pistons to beat the Knicks last year, and I remember that when Tim Hardaway got fouled in the corner. Felt shaded. But arrow up. I was already feeling good about the Pistons. I don't know if I was feeling this good about them. I want to pump the brakes on Pistons excitement just a little bit with how easy their schedule is, and yeah, I'm still arrow up. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of very samey on this team.
Yeah, the dearth of shooting is going to be the ultimate question for this team. Is like, Cade, are you a good enough, like, heliocentric engine to just, despite no one in your, like, playoff rotation being able to shoot but you, like, succeed despite that? Or, like, is that gonna rear its head, and in what way is that gonna rear its head? That's the big Pistons question, I think.
Yeah, like, are we gonna survive Ron Holland playoff minutes?
Ron Holland and Asur Thompson and Jalen, just like, not just non-shooter, like zero, like don't even put the ball in the air shooters.
But they could try to do a Houston Rockets. All right, so that was the East. Patrick, are you ready for the West?
I am so ready for the West. You mean the best?
The best. Well, let's see what direction these arrows are pointing. They might not be.
That's true.
Pelicans, 2-9.
Dude, major down.
Yeah,
like,
super down. I thought this team was going to be just better than this. Like, just straight up better than this. And also, the Derek Queen trade, which they got made fun of, they almost got made fun of it so much. I was like, he's probably going to be cool, and they're going to not regret it that much, because I feel like nothing ever goes the way we all think it would. And no, it went exactly the way everybody thought it would. Not even like he's been horrible either, though. That's the thing. But just the value of giving up your own pick.
That's the weird thing is, like, honestly, Fears and Queen have been even better than I thought they were going to be. But, I mean, you just can't trust Zion. And I think, if anything, we learned that Zion is just not in the place in his career where he can be so good that this team is, like, has a heartbeat in the West. Like, Zion's not that player, unfortunately.
And he's only played 5 games out of 11.
And then Jordan Poole being out, like, they really, really miss him. But also, I think there was hope that Trey Murphy III could, be a little bit more of an engine for this offense. There was hope that, I don't know, that their center rotation could be so deep that they could have, like, a passable defense, and just none of that has happened. 29th rated defense, 26th offensive rating. They don't have their first round pick. I mean, how many years is Zion even on this roster moving forward?
Yeah, I gotta go way down. I think that's the thing with the Pelicans, and it's kind of why every year I get a little bit excited about them. And they've kind of had the same team ever since the Anthony Davis trade, where it's almost a little like Atlanta Hawksy in the sense of, like, you have all these, like, threes and tall twos and short fours. Like, you just basically have a bunch of variations of three guys that I'm like, wow, like Trey Murphy out there with Herb Jones and Zion, like, they're gonna have all this size and athleticism, and, like, you picture it in your head, they're running up and down the court. And Trey's draining threes, and Zion, he's spacing for Zion, who's, dishing it back. And it's just the reality of this team is just a I think this is a team that I can never quite understand why they're so bad.
Yeah, well,
like, I know they're a layup line. Like, they're a layup line for the other team that started DeAndre Jordan in an NBA game at the age of 37 this year. But like,
against Nikola Jokic.
But like, well, you mean low key though, he practiced against Jokic. That might be like
It's
the one
true.
matchup where he's actually more useful. But like, why? I just don't get it. Like, why does this team suck so much? Maybe they really are just cursed. Like, I don't know. I wish I could actually do some real analysis of this team, because like every year I'm kind of dumbfounded by why they're so bad. Like, I actually don't get it, and I think I'm just gonna accept this team sucks. They're cursed. Dude, like, you look at the names on the roster and you're like, that's a decent team. Like, especially, Yves Missi, like, was supposed to kind of continue what he did last year, be a decent center, ascend a little bit, but no.
I think it's just like, I mean, the defensive center play is just not there at all. Kevon Looney is not, even 2022 Kevon Looney, let alone 2025 Kevon Looney. And then I think the like best case scenario for this team was like Zion's running your point, he's stirring the drink, which is like a really big risk to make, coupled with no defense from your center position. They give me like a lot of like Suns the last couple years vibes, where it's just like, if you don't have point guards and you don't have centers, like, what do you have? Everyone else is kind of supposed to play off of that.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going big down on the Pels.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, next team, Dallas Mavericks. I am super down.
The downest of any team in the league? Question mark?
No. I think I'm more down. Well, like, you mean in terms of my perception of how much it's changed?
Yeah, since the start of the season.
For a 5-year? Dude, I don't know. I think you're sleeping on how down was your Brooklyn arrow to start with.
I mean, I just kind of thought they were going to really suck and be like the worst team in the league, and then they just are.
But I thought Brooklyn was going to suck, be one of the worst 3 teams in the league, and have at least, again, like one or two of the rookies look like guys right away.
You were more optimistic than I was about the Nets.
So, yeah. Okay, but the Mavericks, so the Mavericks, I thought coming into the year, okay, this team's going to be a bit of a disaster on offense. Cooper Flag's low-key in a horrible situation for himself this first year, and their defense will be good enough to make them a competent regular season team until Kyrie Irving gets back. Patrick, they're 5th in defensive rating, but they're 30th in offense. The offense is just that bad. I mean, I guess I can't go too down, though, on a 5-year outlook, because, one, they do have Cooper Flag. I do kind of think this Nico firing is going to have more of an impact on the team than people think. I mean, there was a lot of rumbling coming out from Mavs land like the day before the firing. Like, our home games are hard to play.
Have you looked at Cooper Flag's point differential per 100 possessions?
No.
He is in the 1 percentile.
Oof.
He is a minus 25 points per 100 possession overall, minus 14 on offense in the 5th percentile, and minus 10 on defense in the 12th percentile. I made a joke to you in our season preview that this Cooper Flag like point guard experiment was a little Jeremy Sohan-esque, and I think it has been way more true than I thought when I had originally said it. This team just has no creation whatsoever, and so much repetitive skill sets on their roster. And the reason why I think it's like such a stark down point from what I thought preseason is, one, I thought they were going to be good. I thought they were going to be able to make it work.
Yeah, you're right. This might be the biggest down because I also thought, again, I thought the defense was going to be what it has been, and I thought that would be enough to keep this team afloat until Irving got back.
But then, too, the other reason why I think it's so far down is I didn't think they were going to fire Nico Harrison right now. Like, I thought we haven't talked about the Nico firing at all, but obviously the Luka trade is indefensible. It's a terrible, terrible move. It's one of the worst trades in American sports history. But when you sign off on that move, what is the sense in firing the guy 2 weeks into the next season when you've already let him make every essential decision from that point onward throughout the whole offseason and everything? And so now they're just going to like press the eject button on the whole like prime timeline that they have on that roster.
But I do feel like they had to fire him. I mean, I don't know how much you were reading, but basically like it was coming out. Players were like playing at home is like impossible. Like people hate us. Our home, like we don't have a home court. And I do think like that. I think they were in the problem of like I don't know if any of the individual players truly hated Nico that much, but like the tenure of the situation was getting too toxic for it to continue.
Yeah, I hear that, but I mean, one, I didn't think it was going to be like that preseason, and two, I think like it's unfortunate that they had so many injuries to start the season. I think they probably are a better team than their record stands for right now, but they're not going to get good value for these guys. And so looking out 5 years, it's like the way that they've dealt with this whole thing, like Nico definitely has his famous misses, but he did kind of pull a finals construction out of his ass the year before that. Like, I probably would have rather liked to see him blow up the team if anybody was going to blow up the team. But I don't know. It's so messy and it's so ugly and it has such terrible vibes.
Yeah, I guess my only thing is I could see like I don't know. I think maybe my thing was I was a little lower on Flag as a prospect than like kind of everybody else was. Like people were talking about him like he was like a LeBron. Like I don't know, the way people were talking about Cooper Flag was like the can't miss. He's gonna be the guy.
Generational prospect.
I'm like, bro, we just had Victor Wembanyama 2 drafts ago. Like, can we not? Like, he's not. I never thought he was that caliber. But it's funny he's on Anthony Davis's team because I think he's kind of giving the vibes of like I could totally see him being a guy where he's like he's the best second option in the league, but for whatever reason it just doesn't work when he's the 1A guy.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. I guess I think this team is going to I don't know. I just can't. I don't really see this team being a complete train wreck in 4 years. So it's hard for me to be like super, super down. But obviously, I don't know. I even think they're going to get better this year. I guess I'm not as down, but I'm definitely down from where I was, given how disastrous this has been. But I kind of feel like things are going to get better from here.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think they're kind of like forced to blow things up right now, and they're in like such a terrible like space for negotiation that I'm pretty pessimistic on how they can maneuver, because they're also out first round picks like moving forward. They have their pick this year, which is why they should definitely try and tank, but I don't know, it's all just so weird.
Yeah, maybe I'm giving them a little too much credit. I don't know. And maybe it's because Luka was on this team and we saw what these guys look like next to Luka Doncic in high leverage situations. And I'm like, I just see these young guys play well when they had a creator.
Yeah. Well, had the creator.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's even a little unfair because it's like, the like most special heliocentric engine that
in the league
we've almost ever seen, but definitely in the league. It's like when they have him on their team, they were fine. They can build it in the aggregate.
I don't know. I'm definitely down. Like, don't get me wrong. I guess I'm just not like my arrow's not pointed straight down. It's kind of more just like it's pointed very down, but I'm not all the way down. Like I feel worse about the Pelicans the next 5 years than I do about the Mavericks. I'm
just saying I am looking at this exercise as more of like a
How
net.
Much? Yeah.
More than like I'm with you. I don't like The Mavericks still have Cooper Flagg, and that puts them ahead of a lot of teams like over 5 years. But just based on how I was feeling about them coming into the season, it's so starkly different.
Yeah. All right, Sacramento Kings. This is a hard one because I'm sure both of us were feeling super bad about this team coming into the year.
Yes, we were.
And Patrick, I still feel really bad about them, but do I kind of feel exactly how I felt about them to begin with?
I've got a hot take for you. I've got my arrow up on the Sacramento Kings, and I will tell you why. Because the Sacramento Kings make the wrong decision at any opportunity. And I feel like most of the time, they're always trying to roll the ball towards contention. And we have already seen, to start this season, rumors coming out of Sacramento that they're looking for trades. They're evaluating, what can they get to move off DeRozan? What can they get to move off Zach LaVine? How can they do that? And for me, that is a good sign. I wasn't 100% positive that they would try to blow it up, and now I feel more positive than I have ever before. And I think them starting off as poorly as they have this season actually makes me feel better about them because, there's no hot start. There's no reason to fool yourself into thinking that you are a play-in team. You guys are terrible. You have no future, so you have to start to create one.
Yeah, I don't feel any better about this team. I just don't think DeRozan is tradable for any sort of positive asset.
That's fine. I think getting a negative asset for him is almost better. He only makes $22 million. That's not that much. If a team can convince themselves to trade for him and they can get some second round picks, I think that is good for the Kings moving forward.
Who is trading second round picks for DeMar DeRozan?
A team that's we're one piece away. We need another creator. I could see the Pistons doing it. I could see, DeRozan is so respected. He's one of those guys that, how many more opportunities did Russell Westbrook get than you thought he should have? I feel like DeRozan is going to be like that. He's not even on a minimum contract yet.
I just don't know what team is looking for DeRozan. I don't know. The guy who at least is playing well enough, field goal percentage-wise, is not yet at, inefficient chucker territory, is LaVine. But LaVine's on such a big contract with the apron rules. It's so hard to make trades for him happen. I don't even know if you could do a Paul George for LaVine swap because there's a $9 million difference in their salaries.
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to. I feel like they're giving you... maybe you're not going to get great stuff out of Paul George, but hypothetically, he can give you a little bit more of the stuff on the wing than Zach LaVine could. But yeah, slightly up, but I am feeling a little bit up on the Kings on their 5-year vision.
I'm super down. I think over the course of the 5 years, they're going to have them or the Pelicans will have the fewest wins in the conference.
I think that's fair, but I think that's what they need to do. That's so much better than them trying to be a winning team built around the best king of all time, Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, I guess so. You're feeling up. I'm feeling pretty much the same, which is pretty down. I honestly, dude, I don't know. I feel even more down. I feel like they at least had coming into the year Sabonis as a trade piece. I feel like he's just completely neutered his value.
That is true. He has not done anything good for his value.
All right, we got the Clippers.
Oh, this is we're really cheery in the West, in the Western Conference. Down,
Super
hella
down.
Have vibes ever been so bad?
See, this is a tricky one to be down on, though, because I think because of how bad this has been, it's going to fast-track the, move on to the next era of Clippers basketball, which is a huge unknown, right? It could be good, it could be bad. I have a feeling it will be good, just given the track record of the ownership group since he's come in. I just don't know how long it's going to take to get there.
I mean, the thing is, they still don't have their picks.
No, and they don't have a lot of trade value with a lot of their guys.
No, they're still paying off the Kawhi deal. They're still, or Paul George Kawhi deal. They're still paying off the frickin' James Harden deal. And I mean, this team is a win now, like built to compete team. And like, I just don't see any reason why you should be optimistic that they can operate at that level.
Yeah, I don't either. And also, there's a whole lot of other shit going on that is swirling around the team that honestly seems to get worse every month. There's some new news drop that makes it seem worse than it was before. So I was already feeling bad about the Clippers on a 5-year time scale, but not that bad because I kind of just felt like Bomber's always going to buy them into competency. Now I'm like, okay, I think all these trades are going to catch up to them, and I don't know.
How about the Norm Powell for John Collins, Bradley Beal, and Chris Paul, like, swap, essential swap. Like, Chris Paul literally can't get on the court. Ty Lue won't play him. Bradley Beal is now out for the season, and John Collins has been okay, but, like, Norman Powell is lighting the world on fire the way he did literally last season for the Clippers for the Heat. It's a tough look.
Grizzlies, I'm down.
Oh,
I'm very down.
Yeah. Bad vibes in Memphis.
Wow, look at us. Down arrow on the bottom 5 teams. We're so smart, Patrick. We're so clever. No, but like truly, like this Ja Morant disaster, like what, 4 games into the season? Like what a mess.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people were optimistic that this would be Ja's like get right season after the last fake gun Instagram live weirdness of the last couple years and just like constant injuries of the Grizzlies. And turns out the constant injuries are not going to end, and Ja is just going to be a shell of himself.
Yeah, and I feel like what this exercise has actually kind of opened my eyes to, Patrick, is I don't know if it's going to be a seller's market the next 2 years. I mean, look at all these teams are talking about selling off their star players. Grizzlies probably need to trade Jaren and Ja. Clippers are going to try to maybe trade Zubac at some point. Kings want to get off Sabonis. The Mavs have probably get off one of Gafford or Lively or Kyrie and AD. Pelicans might want to get off Trey Murphy or Zion. In the Eastern Conference, like maybe Siakam in a year from now, if they're really big of a disaster, we'll get traded. Like I just feel like there's going to be a lot of guys on the market, and it's going to suppress what you can get for some of these guys. I don't know. I think it's a bad time to be a seller.
Yeah,
Especially
I mean, we saw that with the Kevin Durant trade, I think. Like, the market value, I think, so far in the season, the Suns, we'll get into that, have done pretty well. But market value, the Suns did terrible for trading a guy of Kevin Durant's value. And I totally agree with you. Like, that's just going to keep rolling forward.
And I think that's what makes me feel really bad about the teams that are doing really bad right now is there's not like that, oh, we're just going to trade, Jaren Jackson and get 2 first-round picks, and we're going to navigate from there. It's like there's a lot of teams that want Jaren Jackson, but there's also a lot of other big men who are going to be on the market from bad teams, and there's a lot harder to make trades nowadays because of the apron rules. So I don't know. I just feel like these seller teams or teams that will become sellers are in a tough spot.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. That's a great take.
Utah Jazz.
That's how I feel about the Utah Jazz.
I'm up.
You're up? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair. Like, they've tried to tank, and Lauri Markkanen is looking better. Keontae George has looked good. I guess I'm up, too. But I don't feel very different about their outlook.
So the Jazz are 4-7. They've played the hardest schedule in the NBA. Playing my Hawks tonight. Kessler's out for the year, but I think Markkanen is doing more stuff. I kind of thought he was on the trajectory of slowly losing value over time. I kind of thought he was about to be on his own version of the Sabonis trajectory. I feel like he's shown he's still a real guy who has real trade value if they ever wanted to flip him, or they can kind of just let the team grow around him. I don't think you've seen enough from Ace to say he's some positive piece going forward. The guy's shooting 38% from the field right now. I think everyone expected a rough start. But I just feel like this team has kind of shown that, like, they're still the really competent organization, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I just feel like they're going to kind of continue to rise over the next 2 years and be a consistent play-in, low playoff seed team, whereas I just don't see that for any of the teams below them except maybe Dallas.
Yeah, I agree with you. Now that I think about it, it is a clear up, I guess. Like, Lowry had a rough season last year, and I think he is right back to where he was before. Keontae George has actually been awesome. Just like breaking out passing chops that we have never seen from him. But you just like go down their roster. It's like, okay, next great Jazz team, Keontae George might be on that team. Bryce Sensabaugh might be on that team. Kyle Filipowski might be on that team. Ace Bailey might be on that team. Walter Clayton might be on that team. That's a pretty good place to be for a team that it came into the season with just clear tanking aspirations. And then a guy in Lauri Markkanen who it's like, you know, they can go the way of just like making him kind of the bridge player between a competing Utah team and a non-competing Utah team that they are right now over the next 5 years, or they can trade him, capitalize on something. And I mean, like you said, it's not a great market to be trading a star, but yeah, you talked me into it, James. I like what the Jazz have done.
Also, this might be like a dumb thing, but I just feel like Danny Ainge's ability, if they did trade Markkanen and kind of did go full bow tank again, like I just feel like he does a better job, is going to do a better job of putting together rosters with like adults on it to help guide young players when there's no like star for them to kind of play off of. Like this team has Kevin Love on it, Kyle Anderson, Yusuf Nurkic, like not talking about the quality of them, just like guys who seem like adults and positive influences on their young guys
that have been in the NBA for a really long time. There's definitely value in that. I agree.
Yeah, so I'm up on the Jazz. I don't know if I think they're going to be like West contenders 3 years from now, but I feel like they're going to be playoff contenders. Okay, Warriors 7-6 on a 5-year table. On a 5-year table, Patrick, I was not feeling terrible. I wasn't feeling great. I was kind of feeling just like, okay, like they're gonna slowly peter out. I think the post Steph Curry era is gonna be a lot more rough than people are ready for.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, like I think he's coming back down to earth a little bit, but Jonathan Kuminga had a pretty good start to the season, which like they could get back to that, and then that would help their 5-year outlook. I still really like this team in the current season. I think they just have a lot of winners on their roster. They have a lot to figure out on the offensive end, but with the guys they have, it's like they're gonna have a pretty substantial playoff jump once they get there.
I think so too, and I think you don't want to make like a 1-game regular season sample size be indicative of anything, but like they went in and beat San Antonio last night, showed a lot of resolve in a game that was tight through like the whole game, and like I don't know, man. I think as long as you have Steph Curry, like he just does wonders for everyone around him. I guess I'm just worried, like if I'm going to shorten it to a 2-year thing, like what happens if they lose in like the first or second round because of a Jimmy injury or a Steph injury, where it's like we felt 50-50 against the Spurs, but Jimmy got hurt in game 2. Like what do you do if you're the Warriors? Like I don't know with how old him and Steph are.
I mean, even if they get to the Western Conference Finals, I think I don't think either of us see them as like a finals contender, even if they were to like kind of injury walk their way there. Either way, Jimmy Butler is going to be in the same contractual situation he was last season when he lit South Beach on fire to get a trade. So, I mean, I think that's a huge worry because I don't think Golden State is dying to sign up for the Jimmy Butler experience for, an additional 2 years to what they already signed up for, especially if they don't have like really serious playoff success, which I think is fair to be skeptical about.
And it's funny we're talking about that because I think the Warriors are similar to the Bulls, where you're like, and they're literally in the exact same position within their conference at number 9, where I feel like it's like blink twice and you don't realize they're only the 9 seed.
Yeah, but, they have 7 wins. Like, it's kind of a fake. Like, they're 4.5 games back of the Thunder, and the Rockets, who are in the 4 seed, are 3.5 games back. So, like, it's pretty tightly bunched. The thing that I like about the Warriors is that so far their defense that we saw at the end of the regular season last year has pretty much sustained. They have the 9th best defensive rating in the league. This team is going to sink or swim on their defense, and just like how far Steph Curry and Jimmy can carry them offensively in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I guess I didn't really even consider this team on a 5-year scale. This is my first time really considering it. How did I feel about them? I felt on a 5-year timetable, I probably felt like slight negative, and I feel like I'm feeling a little bit more negative now. But
yeah.
It's not really because of the results. It's more so really kind of realizing where they're at in the aging curve, and just Kuminga was better. But I just don't know if Kuminga being better is this great starting point for the next. Like if we were looking at the Warriors, it's like Kuminga and a bunch of average to sub-average guys around him, we would be like, you are in the Pelicans tier.
Well, and I think it's important not to forget about what the vibe was coming into the season with Kuminga, and that was a vibe of this guy is definitely going to get traded. Like, not even by the trade deadline. This guy's going to get traded by mid-December because it's so untenable. And we've already seen that creep in a little bit. Like earlier this week, Draymond had some kind of weird like call out in his post-game media availability. So I mean, I kind of want to like abstain right now to see like if that actually happens, what they get out of like a Kuminga move. But yeah, like pretty much neutral, if not like down a tiny bit, I think is really fair.
Okay, Trailblazers. This is a hard one because I guess it depends how good you felt about them coming into the year. I kind of felt like they were going to be a play-in contender, and that's smack dab in the middle of where they are right now at number 8.
Yeah,
I think Denny Advia was going to average 26. I did not, but
yeah, for that reason, I actually feel a lot better about the Trailblazers than I did before. I think they're just kind of killers on defense. I wasn't sure how real the Drew Holiday like experiment was going to be, and they're relying on him big time. Like he's playing 33 minutes a game. Jeremy Grant is back. Just feels like they kind of have a winning culture there for the first time in a while. And like, I love the idea of Dame coming back to this team is perfect. Like, is this not kind of the team we always wished Dame had around him when he was in Portland? Just like chocked full of like big switchy wings that can handle the ball by themselves as well, and like defensive minded guards all over the place. Like, I'm not saying Dame is going to come back next season and be Damian Lillard again, but I think he actually fits pretty well on this roster.
yeah, I think so too. I guess my only concern for the if we're going to do like a 2-year outlook with this team is like Scoot tore his hamstring, and like I don't know that he's out. We haven't seen him yet. Drew Holiday has been playing pretty decent for this team. He's putting up 17 a game, but like, what does Drew Holiday look like next year? He's pretty old. Drew Holiday is
35.
Yeah, 35. So I don't know. He's a 16-year vet. Like he could retire for all we know. Like I don't know. I guess that's where I'm a little bit worried. Where I'm a little worried this team is kind of almost weirdly primed to be like a little young, fun, and exciting this year, and then all of a sudden they like are not quite as fun and exciting next year.
Kind of beam team vibes.
Beam team, but with better management that doesn't trade away like Denny Advia.
Yeah, and a better roster.
Also, shout out to Denny Advia. I think I panned the Blazers when they made the trade for him, and I was like, he's not that great. And I think I said like, oh, I don't know about Denny Advia like after I watched him in person like 2 years ago. So shout out to Denny. He really
yeah, he's killing it. He's
killed me.
Yeah, I did not see him coming. I gotta catch more Blazers games. I gotta be honest. They're always on at the same time as the Suns. That fucks me up.
What's hard for me about them is I just don't know if it's going to be like this is the year and then they ascend next year, or maybe there's a delay year like I'm kind of forecasting. But I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where I feel like they're going to be this fun team playing contender this year, and then I really don't know where it's going to go next year, especially not having seen Scoot.
Yeah, and their books are kind of all over the place. Like, if Denny keeps playing like this, like, you got to pay him big time, but then, like, how far can he bring you? I guess you lose the Drew Holiday contract, but, like, you still got Klingon to pay. Young Hansen hasn't even gotten any burn yet. I don't know. We'll see, but definitely starkly up. I did not expect much of the Trailblazers this season, and they have impressed me.
Okay, next up is the Suns.
Oh my God, I am feeling so much better about the Suns. I was so low on them, and I so regret. Like, I thought they were going to be like the 13th, 14th best team in the West this season.
No way. You thought you were that low? I remember, so Patrick and I, off pod, we actually had a discussion, and I asked him, why is the Suns over-under at like 30 wins? Like, how are the Suns not going to win like 35 games? Because it's going to be Booker and a bunch of centers and Dylan Brooks. It seems like that's like a perfect regular season high-floor team. The Suns, Patrick, have played the second most difficult schedule in the NBA so far.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I pulled this quote. This offseason, Matt Ishbia, he quote tweeted ESPN's insider ranks of just looking forward to this season.
I remember this.
And he quote tweeted them and said, "I'm not worried about what the so-called experts think. They had us as a title contender the past 2 years, and we're wrong then. We're focused on making our fans proud by playing great as a team and building a brand of basketball that's tough and gritty." And while the first part of that quote is an incredible self-own by Matt Ishbia, he was right. This team is tough. They are gritty. They're averaging 3 more offensive rebounds a game. They're averaging 4 more turnovers a game. Devin Booker has looked as good as he has looked since probably 2022. He's just been awesome. And most of all, they're just getting up threes around Devin, which I love. Grayson Allen has been unbelievable. I've loved the Dylan Brooks experience so far. Royce O'Neal can't miss a three. And Mark Williams, I'm sorry, like, earmuffs, Lakers fans, but Mark Williams has been incredible. Like, he has far exceeded my expectations. He's literally like the best differential player in the league, like 99th percentile, plus 29 points per 100 possessions, has just been awesome on both sides of the ball. And I think there's a lot of room for improvement. In my mind, the way the Suns like outperformed their expectations this year was Rasheer Fleming and Kamen Malawach were further along than we had expected, and we just kind of become this like defensive three-point shooting team. And while we have become that defensive and three-point shooting team, the Suns have gotten literally 0 from their rookies, which I still believe in those guys. They're just deep. The vibes are so good. Devin Booker is back. I could not be more happy.
Yeah, I'm definitely up on the Suns. Again, I was weird Suns optimist, and I kind of like that they've been better, I guess in the same way, but with different players than I thought they would be.
Yeah. The other thing that I want to say is a big part of it is they nailed the coaching hire. Jordan Ott so far this season has been awesome. And he got his flowers for his game plan against Wemby when Wemby only scored 9 points after lighting the whole league on fire to start the season. But also, just one of my favorite Jordan Ott stats is players wide open field goals attempted per game. Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen, and Dylan Brooks are all top 8 in that stat of wide open field goal attempts per game. And all those guys are shooting 38% or better on threes. So teams are trying to guard them, and Jordan Ott is scheming them wide open shots all off of Devin Booker. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been nice to see Booker rejuvenated. I just feel like it was just so hard the last couple of years for Devin, where it's on this team where it's like, hey, you're going to play with 2 clones of yourself that are not quite you, but they're similar to you, and all 3 of you are going to have this level of confusion about who should be doing what.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is, like, there was no defensive infrastructure. Like, the vibes were so bad.
Yeah.
It's been really fun to see. And I laugh because I'm sure you could find, like, me saying like 10 episodes last season that no matter what the Suns traded for Kevin Durant, the Suns would be better. That was something I couldn't stop saying last year. And then I just got so depressed after like the whole off season of everyone saying the Suns were going to be so terrible and watching such terrible basketball. I like acquiesce to that feeling, and I'm happy to be wrong.
Patrick, can you we're gonna tag back to one of the first teams we talked about. Can you close your eyes and imagine, and as you imagine Kevin Durant in a Suns uniform, and now it's like Dylan Brooks. It's like these guys who aren't quite as good, right?
Yeah.
So now picture Franz Wagner in a different team's uniform. And all the pieces the Magic would get back for him.
That's true. Maybe. I mean, he doesn't have the name rec of Kevin Durant. But no, I see what you mean with that. Like, yeah. But like you said, it's not a great market.
No, you're right. And you're right. I didn't even bring that up till afterward. All right. So we got next up the Timberwolves, who I guess I feel like the same. I kind of felt like a little like I feel good about them this year. I feel goodish about them next year. And I'm a little worried what happens when Rudy Gobert completely falls off the cliff.
Yeah, I was kind of bullish on the Timberwolves coming into this season, especially with how they performed in the playoffs last year. And I would say I'm probably a little bit down on the Timberwolves just because we haven't seen the players that needed to progress, but we've seen all of the players we expected to regress, like heavily regress in Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley and those guys.
Yeah, I think, I'm definitely down on the T-Wolves. I mean, I kind of just expected regression from those guys. Like, it was only a matter of time before both of them, I don't know if Rudy's at the cliff, but like they hit, different levels of their career. And I think it's a testament to how good like guys like Naz Reid and Randall and Edwards are. I mean, Edwards missed how many games this year? I'm not sure, but
he's played 7, so he's missed
about
half of their
4
games.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just don't know if they're. I just kind of feel like maybe they could make another surprise run to the Western Conference Finals if everything breaks right. But it just feels so impossible for me to envision this team ever beating OKC in a series.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree with the OKC sentiment of it all.
And I'm worried
it's like,
that's going to
how are they going to improve this team?
Yeah, how are they going to improve this team?
Because they don't have picks.
And the guys that they would want to trade are losing value by the year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was kind of arrow pointing like sideways. Now I'm arrow pointing down a little bit. I'm definitely a little bit down on the T-Wolves, like 5-year outlook.
Yeah, I mean, with how like amazing the last 2 seasons have went, like, let's not forget, they have made the Western Conference Finals in back-to-back seasons in a great Western Conference, and like bad teams just don't do that in NBA history. Like, most of the times when that happens, there's a breakthrough.
Yeah, it just but there's also the world where you make it to 2 Western Conference Finals, and in the next 5 years you don't make it to a single one because it's hard to make it to the Western Conference Finals 3-4 times in a 7-year time span. Though that's the
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally with you there, and I think more than ever now with the current CBA, it gets really complicated.
I just think Ant's kind of been everything he was promised to be, and I feel like if you took last year's Ant, who's like taking that many threes and taking that many pull-up threes, and you're shooting like 42% on them, and you just put him on a random 2014 team, like him alone could drag a team maybe to the finals. And it's just like in 2025, you just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, with all that. Do you know what he's shooting from 3 this year? I mean, obviously, small sample size, 50%, and 50% from the field.
Like, that's the thing. I am lower on them, despite feeling like Ant is like a bona fide superstar. And I don't even necessarily think his teammates are bad per se. I'm not trying to say that. I do think with Conley taking a step down, you lose Alexander Walker, not like a huge ball handler, more of like a scorer, but like. I think against OKC, like you can't just string him out there all by himself with no other real ball handler and be like, have fun. Like you're just gonna get your lunch eaten.
Yeah, I mean, I think Anthony Edwards is probably the best 2 guard in basketball, but he's so different from Book and from Donovan Mitchell. Like the reason he's so valuable is because he can score like them on all 3 levels, but he's also like one of the best defenders in the league. And the next breakthrough for Ant and why his ceiling is so high is if he can become a little bit more heliocentric, if he can become less reliant on, a classic point guard like Mike Conley, like what I think they had hoped Rob Dillingham could grow into, which we've just not seen any like real data points pointing to him being able to do that. And then you look at the young guys on their roster, it's like, Rob Dillingham, Bones Highland, Terrence Shannon Jr., Jan Berenger, Leonard Miller. These are all play finishers, scorer guys. And it's like, where is that playmaking coming from? They need it from somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you on the Timberwolves? Where were you before the season? Where are you now?
I am down. I was thinking that they were probably the clear number 3 for me, or in contention, not the clear number 3, but in contention with that, on that Houston level, on that like Golden State, LA. I didn't even really have LA there, but I think there's a lot more question marks than I had realized.
All right. Speaking of LA, they're next. They're number 5 at 8-4. I gotta say, I kind of feel almost the exact same way I felt before the year, despite Austin Reeves obviously being even better than I anticipated.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there too. I mean, like, even with how good Austin Reeves has been, is it anything that we haven't seen before from him?
No, I guess like my Lakers pessimism comes from, I think there's an outcome of the next 5 years where they're their own version of like the 07 Cavs.
Yeah. Yeah, which is not a good place to be.
It's like I feel like the odds of that happening are not they're like higher than 10. And I don't know. I just that possible outcome for the Lakers where Luka, if he's going to stay in amazing shape, is going to always give them a high floor, and because of the lack of flexibility their contracts have, it's going to be so hard unless like Bronny James, which isn't going to happen, which just magically takes a big leap. And it's like, that's like a 1%, 0.05% chance outcome. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't feel bad about the Lakers in the 5-year window. I just don't, I just feel like the pathways for them being stuck in the 6th seed are higher than them getting to a 1 seed at any point during that 5-year stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. And like, you look at how their guys have performed, it's like, it's all pretty much what you've expected from them. magic of the Lakers season so far is that guys have continued to step up when they've needed them to step up, but that's not like something that will transition to the playoffs. Like, if Luka were to miss any time in the playoffs, they would be done for. It just would not be a tenable situation. Like, I love Austin Reeves. Like, I think he honestly is talented enough to be kind of like a primary option on his own okay NBA team. But, like, where does that get you next to LeBron, next to Luka? I think I'm feeling worse about LeBron than I was before the season, mainly because he's still not back. And just like, how does that factor in? And then all the rest of the guys, I mean, like, I kind of assumed DA would be okay. Marcus Smart, he has not shot well. They're going to need him to shoot better than 26% going forward in the season. And, I mean, the best thing about the Lakers is that they've figured out ways to win games, and that's what you expect from a Luka-led team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other really big thing for the Lakers you got to love if you are a Laker fan is JJ Redick. I think is just kind of proving he's a good coach. They, like the Suns, kind of just completely snuffed Wemby out when they played the Spurs. Yeah, I think that the hard part for them is, like, if you want to look at the 1 year window of just this season, like, I mean, like, what happens if LeBron comes back and he's like all NBA second team level again, but he keeps having to miss games because of old man injuries? Like, what do you do with that information? It's kind of like some of the other teams we talked about.
Yeah, and my question has always been, like, how do you replace LeBron? You know, just the asset. Like, that is an asset that is destined for death, in my opinion. Like, you can't really trade him, and you just have to hope that he sustains his performance when he's on the court. And, like, how does that, like, reveal itself over the next 5 years? I don't know. It's a really hard thing to say.
Yeah, well, the one thing is you replace him with cap space, but that doesn't mean as much if Luka and Reeves are clogging it up, because obviously you would need to trade that to stay over the cap. So I don't know. They're in a tricky situation. I don't feel that. I mean, the one thing I will say what I like about them is, like, the one thing with the Thunder and the Nuggets is they are one superstar injury away from there being a wide open path in the West, and so you have Lucas, you have a chance. So I'm still kind of like, if my meter went from 1 to 100, I'm still in that like 60 range. I'm still leaning positive, but I am definitely like, there's a lot of downside being factored into my thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's like, it's about as even as you can get.
All right, Rockets. It's a weird one.
Yeah, I mean, I will tentatively say a little up on the Rockets. I think they've answered. I think Reed Shepherd has kind of shown good things in the bad. Like, I went and saw the Rockets Mavericks game last week in Houston, and I was sitting surrounded by Rockets fans in the lower bowl, and it was a rough game for Reed Shepherd, and all of the fans seemed like more stressed out than you should be about your seventh man. They were like, every little thing that he did wrong, they were acting like it was the end of the world. And so I think there is a lot of pressure for him to perform, but the rebounding shit is real and it works, and I don't see how any team can really combat it.
Yeah, I love the Rockets for this short window. I mean, if I'm going to give the Lakers credit for coaching, I think Ime is an amazing coach. I've always felt that way. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he's finding a way to maximize whatever he's got going on with this team. Like, I remember I was like, why do they need Steven Adams and Clint Capella and Sengun? What are they planning to do with all of these guys who are too good to just sit there? Nope, we're going to play all of them and just figure out a way to make it work on offense. I don't know what teams why teams couldn't have just thought of doing, like, why did the Davis Pelicans with Cousins. Why didn't they just do this year's Rockets?
You could argue that they wanted to, but
I guess they didn't have Amin Thompson to make it work out.
Exactly. Like, the rebounding from the guard position is crazy too. And also, it's like, who knew that they were going to, like, start Josh Okogie 8 times in their first 10 games? And, like, he is just so, like, the perfect guy for their whole culture and just the way they play. He can rebound. Like he's probably one of the better rebounding guards that you could possibly get. So, I mean, I'm just excited to see how they look at the end of the season going into the playoffs. But, yeah, I mean, I'm super optimistic for the Rockets.
Yeah, arrow up. I guess I'm a little bit more up too, because I don't know. There were moments last year and the year before with Şengün where I was like, was I way too optimistic with this guy a little early on? Like, was I getting a little ahead of myself? And I feel like through 10 games this year, I don't really feel the same way. I kind of am gone back to feeling like, okay, he is a bona fide all-star.
Yeah, no, he's a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud. And I think it's also kind of cool to me to see how fast him and KD have coalesced.
Yeah, the 2-man game between them is really awesome, and it's only going to get better. But it's just so hard to guard with how skilled both of them are that no team really has the perfect. Maybe like arguably the Nuggets kind of have like a good pair to throw at them with Jokic and Gordon. In like a 2-man game situation. But yeah, it's so hard to match up with them.
Yeah. Okay. The next team, I believe that would be Jokic and Gordon. Oh no, it'd be the Spurs. I mean, probably quickly, super arrow up. Like,
yeah, super up. I mean, I think Castle's taken a leap. Dylan Harper has looked like he is NBA ready in a way that is just never guaranteed for a rookie. And then in the short time that Fox has been back, Fox has looked really good too.
Also, like, small things with them, like a guy like Julian Champagnie, who used to be like a not so great role player, is now like a good, reliable role player.
Yeah.
Just like things like that. It kind of just feels like arrows up, like on everybody on the Spurs team. And obviously, Wemby took a leap that was even bigger than we thought. Now, we've seen some teams give him some trouble. Your Suns, my Lakers.
I mean, hey, what are you gonna do?
But I kind of just feel like he's going to figure it out. And I will say, in the Lakers game, Harper was out, Fox was out, and they're not going to be out every game.
No. Especially when the games get a little bit more important. Yeah. Where did you think preseason the Spurs were going to end up being?
I thought they were going to be a lot better than I think maybe the markets indicated. I think I had them squarely around that like 5 to 7 seed range.
Okay. I guess I kind of imagine them probably on the lower end of that range as well. But I feel like they're clearly like a top 3-4 team in the West right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I don't know. It's still small sample size theater.
It is, but just like imagine them in a playoff series against like any of these West teams. I think I'm ready to say like they have a puncher's chance in a way that I just already that I wasn't willing to like give them the credit for preseason.
I really want to see them play against OKC.
I don't know what the hell how OKC is gonna like combat the Wemby of it all.
Because it's not just Wemby, though. It's like if I could pick a player to go to war with OKC, like Castle's one of the guys I'm picking. Like Castle is just like, I don't know. He's like one of those guys where I'm like, Lou Dort's not going to get up in his business and fluster him and make him play off. Like I feel like Castle's the type of guy where it's like he is going to be unbothered by no matter who's guarding him. Now, I'm not like he's like this offensive juggernaut. I'm just turning to like on-court demeanor for a good, young, athletic guard who can really go toe-to-toe with those types of guys. I just like...
Well, I think even for even more on the defensive side with Castle, like in an OKC matchup, like
I like that he can.
I love him against Shea. Like no one's gonna like win that matchup, but like I think he's one of the better options that you could roll out there.
Yeah, they just seem like the type of team that could drag OKC into like a mud fight better than any other team.
And they have a guy that can probably like neutralize Chet if he really set his soul
Sights on
onto
it.
doing that.
Did you see that someone said his motivation for getting better this offseason was Chet winning a championship?
No, I did not see that.
That like leaked out of Wemby's camp. I think he
Okay,
hates
Wemby.
Chet. I
like
think him
that.
trying to shut down Chet is like a given in these matchups. Okay, we got
USA
two more
versus
teams.
the world.
We've got the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I feel high on this team. I already felt high on this team.
Yeah, I think I feel a little bit down on what I thought the Nuggets were gonna be.
What did you think? They're 9-2. What were you thinking they were going to be?
Not for their results, just for I thought the Cam Johnson fit was gonna be seamless in a way that it has not been.
I found a Nets page that was like linking their stats between him and Michael Porter Jr. through 8 games, and it was like, we won the trade.
That's so unfair.
go,
That's so
Nets.
unfair.
Let's go, Nets. You guys won the trade.
But yeah, they deserve that. They deserve one win, or I guess a second win.
They won the trade, man. Wrap it up. Season's over.
But yeah, second best offensive rating, third best defensive rating. I'm feeling great about my finals pick for Denver. I assume you are as well.
No.
I mean,
No,
I guess
I
you
was.
can't. I can't feel that great about it, but I feel okay about it just because Jokic is so good, and Aaron Gordon doesn't miss threes anymore, and Jamal Murray has been pretty good by like Jamal Murray beginning of the season, standards.
It's not that they've done anything to make me not feel good about it's what the next team we're going to talk about.
But that's what we said. Okay, going forward to the Thunder, like,
So
are you arrow up?
I'm arrow up. I'm even higher now than I was at the beginning of the year.
So would you change your finals prediction right now?
Yeah, I would switch it to OKC if I could.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean,
I
they
just feel
are
like
12-1 without their second best player.
I feel like OKC has an ability to completely stonewall the perimeter game of every other team in a way that is just knocking teams out of their sets, out of their rhythm, and like they're like blowing teams out. Like most of their games are not like that Lakers game the other day was not competitive.
But we knew this, and I'm trusting the process because what we have still not seen them be able to do is neutralize the greatest player in the world, and that's Nikola Jokic. Took them 7 games, and I think that Denver looks better than they have over the past 2 seasons.
I guess where I'm at, and I might be overreacting, I think there's a chance, Patrick, this team beats the win record by like 2 games.
There is a chance.
Like, I don't know, man. I don't know how I could feel any better about this team. Like, they're fucking awesome, and they have so much capital to just keep getting better over the next few years. And Shea is only, like, he's not that old. Like, he's only 27. Like, I think Shea's going to age really well. Then Jalen Williams.
They have A.J. Mitchell now.
Dude, like, Hasten Wallace is awesome.
Cason Wallace is awesome. And
This team is
fucking
so
A.J.
good.
Mitchell is awesome.
Bro,
And
even
Isaiah
a guy
Hartenstein is awesome.
even a guy like Chet, who I just was like, I felt like his decision making was a little reckless at times last year. Like when I watched him this year, he just seems a little bit more in control. Seems more like an adult out there, and like that's all you need from him. You don't even need Chet to be a star.
The Golden State Warriors won their first 24 games? I think it's going to be hard to break that record. They're going to have a chance at it, but it's going to be hard to win that record because even if they were to lose like 1 game over the next 2 weeks, that kind of puts them in a bad spot for breaking the record.
Yeah, 73-9. I don't know. They have Patrick. They have a 15-point differential, or their net rating. Yeah, is 15.2.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Can I give you like their margin of victory? Let's see. Beat Atlanta by 17. Beat Washington by 19. Beat the Pelicans by 31. Beat the Clippers by like 21. They're just beating teams by almost 20 points in like all of these games.
And do you know who has the number 1 SRS, strength of schedule,
Who?
in the league? The Thunder. Which is just nuts.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think like the thing is like I feel good about Denver. Like I do feel like Denver could maybe beat them in a playoff series, and I feel like Houston could give them a lot of trouble in a playoff series. I think in the opening game, Houston showed they play this weird, funky brand of basketball. That's maybe what's needed to beat OKC. But I still feel way better about OKC in 4 years than I do feel about Houston. I just feel like Shea, we're not ready to have the conversation that Shea might be like, oh, hey, Kobe, like I
am so ready to have that conversation, especially if the Thunder win 70 games this season. Like, Shea has already, in my opinion, cemented his place as one of the, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a random number after not doing any research to back this up, but one of the 5 best guards, like true guards in the history of the NBA. Like that, he will reach that by the end of his career. But also, it's just hard to win back-to-back championships. And
it is. I mean, no one's done it, so we'll see. I don't know. The way that they just seem to completely take teams out of the game is just, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Warriors would do it too, but they did it with like offense. Mm-hmm. This team does it with defense, and then they come
did
down
it with defense too.
They did it with defense too, but I don't know. I don't know how to describe the feeling this team gives me when they're just annihilating teams.
Yeah, they didn't do it as much with perimeter defense, which I think is a more demoralizing fashion.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's like they have multiple guys who just steal the ball from your ball handlers.
Yeah, it's like you can't even dribble. And no team's ever been like that.
Ant does this. Ant just strips the other team's point guard, like, sometimes. Mm-hmm. And those are the plays where they just strip the ball, and Lou Dort and Wallace are flying down the court, and you're like, what?
Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. I'm feeling great about my Coach of the Year prediction for Mark Dagnall. I think I might run it back over the next 5 years. Okay, well, that was quite the exercise. I hope everyone.
That might have been our longest pod ever.
I know, we are like just about to hit 2 hours on this podcast, but it was a good exercise. I feel like we realized things about ourselves. We realized things about the NBA. We learned a lot.
Yeah, oh, my bad. Sorry, Patrick.
No, you're good.
I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad.
No, I was just saying and as a non sequitur.
Yeah, I feel like what this really was a helpful exercise for us, and hopefully you guys too, was like realizing some trends that might emerge, especially with this whole there's 10 teams that probably want to be sellers in the next 2 years, and a lot of them want to trade power forwards.
That is true. So look at the teams that need power forwards, and whichever one actually gets one at a discount price, they might be the next team up.
Yeah. Okay, so what team are you? I mean, for me, let's just wrap it up. We did how we feel about them relative to where we were to start, but what team do you feel the best about the next 5 years, and what team do you feel the worst about? Best for me would definitely be OKC.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think there's just no way to argue that. Actually, no, there is a way to argue. I think this is not relative to how I felt about them preseason, but I think I probably still feel better over the next 5 years about the Spurs just because of the timeline of their contracts. Next year is going to be the year where it gets weird for OKC with the Hartenstein and the Caruso deals mixed with all their max contracts. We're still a little bit far out from that for the Spurs. Wemby's still going to be on a rookie deal for the next 2 years, right?
His fourth year is next year and fifth year qualifier.
Oh, yeah. So 1 year, and then he's on the baby max. But then Castle's still going to be on his rookie deal. Harper still has a lot to grow, and I like what I've seen. So I probably – and I feel like – I don't know. How are you feeling, Shea versus Wemby? That's never no one ever debates that, but I feel like that's actually a big debate for this conversation.
I have the most unfun answer. I think in 2 years we might say Wemby is the best player in the NBA. But I think we talked about this a little bit last week. How do you value a guy in Shea versus a guy in Wemby? If you feel like Wemby is maybe better a little bit, but if Shea just plays 15 more games a year, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I also feel like
I would
the
feel
gap.
I feel like Shea might play like over the course of the next 5 years, 50 more regular season games. So that's where I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. What is cool about both of them as just players in general is, unlike kind of the superstar crop from our childhood, both Shea and Wemby are kind of scheme proof in terms of like how you build around both of them. So I feel like there's kind of no chance that they, even with like the obvious changes that are going to come from the OKC roster and like everything's going to shake out one way or the other with the San Antonio Spurs roster, it's like I think will both be able to kind of levitate above that in the way that like the best players in the history of the NBA do. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. All that like Midwest corridor is going to, a lot of great basketball is going to go through there.
Yeah, and of course something will change the tenor. The team I feel worst about, dude, I don't know. I actually think I have the Kings. I just don't trust the
So
organization.
who are the candidates here?
I think for me the candidates are the New Orleans Pelicans, Sacramento Kings, maybe the
Clippers
Nets.
got to be there, right?
Dude, I don't know. I just feel like the thing is, as bad as it looks right now in the Clipperland, I just trust like Bomber and Co. so much more than I trust Vivek and Co.
Yeah, and Joe Dumars.
Yeah, like I just don't trust the Kings' ownership at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. I mean, I even think Milwaukee has like a little bit of a stake in this conversation, because if Giannis demands a trade, there's going to be some years in the wilderness, and they don't have their picks. I'd probably choose the Kings as well. I don't know. Yeah, I'll choose the Kings, but the Clippers are knocking on the door for me.
Okay. I mean, hey, I'm all down for the Clippers slander. I feel like I've hated this era of Clippers basketball. I've like despised every minute of it, but I can't go there with you.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's just like they literally have no young players. They don't have control over their picks, and there's a pretty good chance that they're going to be docked more picks, like not due to any moves that they might make. And I just don't see them being able to move off James Harden. I don't see them being able to move off Kawhi Leonard. And like, what are the odds in the next 5 years there's a situation where Kawhi Leonard's on their books and they can't play him at all? Like, he just is a non-player for them.
Very high. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up there. So we both Patrick likes the Spurs, I like the Thunder, and we both don't like the Kings, with a shout out to the Clippers. All right.
That's all I've got. I hope this makes up for our missed week. Thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you. Remember to like and subscribe and comment and all that jazz. All right.
Peace.